All right. Well, welcome to pregame show. Cardinals, Cowboys, as you can see in the background. I got my man Kevin Gray. We got the Fantastic Three, as I'm gonna call us. We got Kevin Gray and we got Tyler Butler. What's going on?
What's up?
What's going on?
Man, glad to get you guys back on, man. It's been a minute since we talked Cowboys.
And I know, right?
We got a lot going on right now.
You could say that, yeah.
to say the least. Yeah, we do. But Kevin, the big man on campus, big man on the show, man. 105.3, the fan. You got hey, I'm giving you your roses now before
you. I appreciate it, man. Happy to be here. Yes, you can hear me on the weekends. 2 to 6:30 on Saturdays, generally 9 to about 12:30 on Sundays when the Cowboys play that 325 game. So yeah, you can hear me on the weekends and filling in for time to time for our guys. So yeah, happy to be here, man. Excited to see the two of you on the screen once again, man.
Yeah, man. And Tyler Butler doing his thing as well, man. Give you a shout out as well, doing your thing, doing the live shows, man, with the Jordans on the table, with the wrap snacks on the table.
That's
right. my guy. So, man, we have
represent the X squad, man.
Definitely. So we got Cowboys, Cardinals. A lot of storylines here. Obviously, Dak out with the injury. Horrific injury, something that I hated to watch. You know, when you see that type of injury, you're like, please tell me that that's not what I think it is. And obviously, that was exactly what we all thought it was. But we go into this game as Andy Dalton time, a.k.a. Red Rifle, a.k.a. Red J Jr.
I like it.
So he'll be starting. He gets his opportunity. I think he played for Katy High School, I believe. So, he's getting his opportunity to show what he has. We got Zeke in the backfield. And then we got Kyler Murray on the other side and Kingsbury, that defense, D-Hop. But give me your outlook on the game first, Kevin. What are you looking for in kind of a preview?
Yeah, this is obviously a primetime situation where you have a team and the Cowboys reeling off of losing their leader, their emotional leader, their franchise leader in one Rain Dakota Prescott. But at the same time, Andy Dalton steps into a situation where he has been a veteran in this league for a long time. Yes, the spotlight has been on him ever since he's come into this league, but a guy who's won 70 games in his career, 22 fourth quarter comebacks, and a guy who's been there and done that and taken teams to the playoffs. So you could tell that this is a guy who has been prepared for this moment. When he got into the huddle last week, he told Michael Gallup and his teammates, look, man, this is what you brought me here for. Let's go win this game. And that's exactly what they did last week. So obviously it's a tough spot for him, but at the same time, Mike McCarthy knew bringing in a veteran that he could be in this kind of a moment. And for, good fortune, he is 3-0 lifetime against the Arizona Cardinals. So who knows? Maybe it's a good omen for tonight that Andy Dalton is starting for the Cowboys on Monday Night Football. But the spotlight's firmly going to be on him after what's happened with Dak Prescott over the last 8 days or so now.
Yeah, definitely. And this is the reason why you signed a vet. This is the reason why you signed a guy with this much experience, because if something happens, you can't have Cooper Rush running out there. You can't have Mike White running out there. You can't have Ben DiNucci. I love his first name, but you can't have Ben DiNucci running out there either. So, you got to have somebody with some experience. But, Tyler, I'll go to you.
Yeah, so, of course, man, when Dak went down, we all panicked. I thought for the worst. But once I calmed down and actually reeled everything in and actually took a look at it, Andy Dalton has been to the Pro Bowl, I believe, 2 or 3 times. So it's not like we have some a bomb in the backfield. He's been there. He's actually performed on the biggest stage before, not the Super Bowl, but he did take the Cincinnati Bengals to the playoffs before. And that's really coming from a run-first, defensive-oriented team in Cincinnati under Marvin Lewis. So now you have Andy Dalton with probably the best weapons he's ever had in his career, college included. And Dallas now, I think you're going to see Dallas go back to the old style, which is ground and pound, get a ball to Zeke Elliott, and then just run a couple of plays off of that. So that's really going to be the key to winning this game. I know our offensive line is banged up. We're missing the starting left and right tackle. Everybody's moving around, but we're going to have to develop this running game and pray for the best with our secondary because they got their hands full tonight, man.
Oh, man.
This secondary has had a rough go of it. Injuries, obviously. But, when I posted this on Facebook, when they got that strip sack and a defensive touchdown, I'm thinking Jesus must be coming back tomorrow, like later on tonight, because there's no way this defense has ever, has done that in the past couple of years, I would say. One thing I want to bring up, Mike Nolan. Mike Nolan came down on the field. I don't know if that made a great difference, but I wanted to, ask you guys that. You think that made a big difference with him coming down on the field and maybe getting in the players' faces, maybe trying to help them, coach them on that defense?
I mean, I think Jalen Smith alluded to it a little bit, that it was good to have Mike Nolan on the sidelines with the players, being able to get with them. Look, it's you get a bird's eye view sitting up there in the press box, but it's a different feeling, a different kind of intensity when you're actually down there on the sidelines with the players. And I think the defensive players needed to see Nolan down there to be able to talk to him face to face, make the kinds of in-game adjustments that you could do over a headset and have it communicated to the players. But it's a different feeling and a different type of communication when you're able to do it, face to face. And I think the players, at least for a game, felt better about the idea of having Mike Nolan down there so that, at least communication-wise, things could be better. And now with Leighton Vander Esch coming back tonight, it's going to be even more important for him because he's going to be in the middle calling the plays of the defense, and his communication between him and Mike Nolan is going to be extremely important given how explosive this Cardinal offense could be. So I'm glad to see Mike Nolan make at least a small change, to get down there, on the sidelines to help out a little bit.
Yeah, definitely. Tyler, what was your thoughts seeing him on the sideline?
Well, honestly, the way the defense been performing, he needs to be on the field. On the field. Whether it's the secondary, whether it's outside linebacker, just put him on the field. But like what Kevin alluded to, I mean, we're getting the Wolf Hunter back tonight. I'm still extremely skeptical about that. I was skeptical last year when he went down with the injury. The type of injury that he pertained, it's usually in certain situations can be career ending. So I want to keep a very close eye on Leighton Vander Esch tonight, make sure he stays upright. We definitely, sadly, miss Sean Lee because he's really the brains of the defense. We have an extremely young secondary back there. I thought, and I've said this before, the biggest mistake the Dallas Cowboys made in the offseason is not retaining Byron Jones. Losing him was detrimental to the defense because with his ability to take away half of the field, that helps out the young linebackers, that helps out the young defensive backs and safeties. You don't have to worry about that half of the field. He wasn't creating turnovers, but nevertheless, he wasn't giving up big-time plays as well. So with Vander Esch going back to the middle, you get Jalen Smith to the outside where he belongs, in my personal opinion. But, Mike Nolan, we need him down there speaking to all these young guys. It's an extremely young team outside of, the front four, but they need him on the field, at least see somebody in their face with some type of aggression or intensity maybe to get the defense riled up. But on the field helps tremendously instead of the skybox. Yeah,
I agree 100%. And now we can see that we are missing Byron Jones. Byron Jones was huge in that secondary. We got Trayvon Diggs out there, the young cat. He made a smart play a couple of games ago, but they're going to be picking on him for sure. And I think it's going to be important that this defense, obviously, number one, we got to tackle. Like, that's just the basic. Like, we should know tackling is extremely important. And you got Kyler Murray, who you're going to be running around trying to catch. And one thing I do want to talk about is Everson Griffin. Like, I like the signing initially, but he looks he looks worn out. He looks like somebody that you sign by name recognition only and not because of what they actually are going to do. But I want to get you guys' thoughts on this because we're going to need him tonight. We're going to need every lineman possible tonight.
Yeah, it's been tough with Griffin because, you look at some of the advanced numbers, things like, pass rush win rate, 0. Like, he's not getting to the quarterback. And, you watch the tape from him a year ago and from a couple of years back when he was with the Minnesota Vikings, and you say, oh, this is a guy, 32 years of age, you bring him in, he's going to still be effective at getting after the quarterback. And you saw what DeMarcus Lawrence was able to do to help Robert Quinn, go get money whipped by the Chicago Bears after he got, double-digit sacks like last year. And you thought the same thing could happen, for Everson Griffin. He has just not been able to really get off the ball the way that he is capable of doing, the explosiveness that you're accustomed to seeing from Griffin. You just haven't seen that from him this year, and it's been really disappointing given what the expectations are. And then you think about it in the terms of Aldon Smith, a guy who hasn't played a down of football in 5 years is coming in and outplaying a guy who's been on the field, consistently over the last several years. So for Griffin, it's been really disappointing. I hope for him, especially as we start getting toward the second half of the year, that he gets much more comfortable with this team and starts being the kind of player that we thought he could be opposite of DeMarcus Lawrence, to give the Cowboys the kind of pass rush that they need to get after some of the better quarterbacks in the league. I think tonight, though, for sure, gap integrity is going to be important. Can you continue to be gap sound, not lose contained? Because once you do, that's when Kyler Murray starts to get loose. So being able to get after the quarterback but still maintain your gap integrity, I think, is going to be really important for the Cowboys tonight. And Everson Griffin's going to be a huge part of that.
Yeah, he is. Tyler, I want to add on to that.
So Kevin, of course, in this excellent job that he does on his radio station, one of his colleagues, Jeff Kavanaugh, actually called out Everson Griffin a couple of weeks ago.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
And Everson went off, and a couple of the Cowboys from Cowboy Nation, you know how they do. They just hopped on board and decided to go off as well. But he was absolutely correct. He hasn't been standing up to his expectations, and he was mentioning that he's going to get more, hands on the ground in his basic regular stance, and maybe that'll help him out. But even him having his hand in the ground, I still haven't seen too much of production. I was happy to finally get something out of DeMarcus Lawrence last week. But I'm thinking, with him, and I'm curious to see what's going to happen when Randall Gregory returns, how much we're going to get out of him. Definitely extremely shocked at the production that we're getting out of Aldon Smith. But as Kevin said, man, there's no way Everson Griffin should be getting outperformed by a man that's been out of football for 5 years. For a full presidential term. And he's coming back making you look like a backup. That's ridiculous.
Right. A full 45 term,
Yeah, full 45. And you know how long that term has been.
Yeah, so ages.
Come on, Everson. We need something out of you, man.
Yeah. And you mentioned Aldon Smith not playing for 5 years. Like, forget a couple of years, but after 5 years, and he was leading the league in sacks. I don't think he is at this point. He's probably a little bit behind whoever's at the top. But this guy has been 100% worth whatever he's getting, which I know it's not a lot. I know it's probably incentive laden, but Aldon Smith has been great. Now, as we gotten over these past couple of games, he has kind of slowed down, which understandably that's going to happen. But I'm dependent on D-Law tonight too. Like we need more production out of him. I think Van Der Esch is going to be huge with him coming back. We all know that, which is a pregame show. Cowboys Cardinals will be going up to kickoff. But what was I saying? Yeah, Van Der Esch is going to be huge in this game for sure. Yeah. I think whatever he gives us, it's going to be bad. I like Joe Thomas. I think he's a great person. I would shake his hand if I seen him on the street. But he's not the linebacker that we need, because he sometimes he makes a lot of dumb plays. There's been a couple of plays where we got penalties, end up getting called back. So let's talk about the offensive side. I think we know the main game plan is feed Zeke, and I'm saying every single opportunity we can, get him the ball out of the backfield. If we need to pass it to him, if he needs to screen plays, whatever it is we need to do, he needs to be involved early, often, and frequently. Also, I think because of the wide receivers we have, which I love this core. I love Amari, CD, and trying to blank on his name, Gallup.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the offensive side. What's some keys? Tyler, I'll go to you first.
It's like we said earlier, it's going to be running the ball. Running the ball is going to set up the play action. The good thing about Dalton by being a pocket passer the way he is, you need receivers that understand the route tree. And we got two of the best in the business with CD and also Amari Cooper. One thing that I do want to see about Amari Cooper, and I don't know if anybody has been critical on him as this, I'm starting to see Amari give up on a lot of plays. Mm-hmm. He's not fighting it for the ball too often. Seems like his head drops a little bit, but it'll be a couple of, I would say, Dak Prescott interceptions where Amari would stop the route. And with Andy Dalton, he's going to have to be more precise because Andy doesn't have that ability to scramble around and make the play. So he's going to have to stick to his route and also finish these drives and also finish the plays. But everything is going to be set up with Zeke Elliott. We're going to have to pound the ball, even if it's bringing in our backup running back at times to expel Zeke. But we definitely need to get back to running the ball as much as possible to help out with this play action pass.
True.
So I'm going to go a little opposite of that because one of the things that I still think this Cowboys team still needs to do is to accentuate their strengths. And right now, it's these three wide receivers. And I think one of the things that with Andy Dalton that we've seen from him over his time in Cincinnati, he likes to get the ball out quickly, especially in rhythm. Last year when he was with Cincinnati, 77% of the time he went with his first read, which was at least 10% more than any other quarterback in the National Football League, according to Pro Football Focus. So he's a first read and go guy. So one of the things that you're going to have to do, especially if you're going to talk about with Ezekiel Elliott, you may need to use 6, 7, sometimes even 8-man protection schemes to give Andy Dalton the kind of time to get the ball out, especially if he's not going to go to his first read. So I might tonight see a little bit more of Dalton Schultz, Blake Bell, Ezekiel Elliott helping out in the passing game in terms of pass protection to give Andy Dalton the kind of time to get the ball down the field to Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb and Michael Gallup, who he hit for a couple big plays, against the Giants last week. And I think it's going to be important to establish confidence early, quickly for Andy Dalton, and then work your play action and your running game off of your ability to move the football down the field in terms of your passing game. I know the offensive line is banged up, and you're going to have to do what you can to protect that line. And one of the ways you can do that is to get the ball quickly out in rhythm, get Andy Dalton moving outside the pocket a little bit, not like Dak Prescott, how he's accustomed to doing, but getting him on the move a little bit to create the kind of space for him to see some receivers down the field. So while I agree, you're going to see a lot more play action, I think it should be predicated off setting up things in the passing game first, because you're going to be using these guys the way that you need to, and to give Andy Dalton the kind of confidence to start off these games and these protection schemes that I think the Cowboys you'll see a lot more of, going forward from here.
Definitely. Can I piggyback off of that right quick, Ben?
Yeah, go ahead.
And I only say that mostly because of our young defense.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the running game is going to eat up the time of possession for the Dallas Cowboys, which helps out their defense. It keeps them off the field. With Dak, I wasn't concerned at all, with throwing the ball around and getting into a shootout with any of these teams, because I had the utmost confidence in Dak. Plus, with their banged-up offensive line, he has the ability, to scramble around and elude a couple of sacks. With Dalton being more of a pocket passer, I just want him to eat up as much time as possession as possible because of that secondary, man. I don't think they're capable of getting into any more shootouts until we have to square up that secondary, man. And Byron Jones ain't walking through that door anytime soon.
Nope.
That's true.
He is not. Let me give some quick shout outs. We got Taryn Rodriguez. He said, I got the Cowboys winning a close one tonight. Thank you for that. Overton Claiborne, he says, how about them Cowboys? I'm not a fan, but I see their team has talent. We do. But the problem is we don't live up to the talent. And we always, the greatest from South Central, he's a part of X Squad. He's a Cowboys fan. We always make the other team look like Super Bowl caliber teams. We made the Giants look like a
competent football team last week. Yeah.
Exactly. We got Evan Ingram running a reverse, and we're like, oh, Evan Ingram got the ball. Oh no. And then we're like trying to dive over here.
I'm not gonna lie though. I feel like Jason Garrett was trolling last week with some of them
Oh,
plays,
yeah,
with some of them reverses, some of the plays. I was like, really, Jason?
Man.
Really, Jason? Now you're going to start running this stuff?
Jason Garrett had Cowboy fans second guessing themselves.
That's right.
You saw a whole lot of "Hey Big Head" tweets.
That's right.
My man Michael says Cowboys fall tonight. My Giants take the NFC East. Nah.
See, I wasn't gonna be disrespectful and laugh, but Tyler did it for me. So I mean,
Look, this division is so bad.
I'm a house guest, so I wasn't trying to be disrespectful to your guests. You know,
you good.
I'm so sorry about that, man.
You good, man. You good. This is what we do here. But this division is so bad. They need to just forfeit and give it to somebody else. They just need to hand a slip to Goodell and just say, "Hey, we're forfeiting this division. None of us deserve to be in here." But the Eagles, if the Eagles don't win this division, everybody needs to get slapped. Need to get a slap line, and everybody just need to get slapped in the face because there is no reason why the Eagles should be playing this bad. Which that's a whole other story for another day.
Is Wentz I know he got injured in the offseason. Is he still injured and they're just not saying anything? Because he looks bad. Very un-Carson Wentz-like. And I think it's a undisclosed injury that they're not putting on the injury report, pulling the, Bill Belichick type move. He doesn't look right now.
I don't know, man. I think it might be mental for him. Ever since Nick Foles won that Super Bowl, became the toast of Philadelphia, man, he has never really been able to kind of shake that. He was on his way to win an MVP that season in 2018.
Oh, absolutely.
He was the best quarterback in football that season. And tears his ACL. Then Nick Foles, of course, takes him on to the Super Bowl. And I don't think mentally he's been the same since then. He's constantly looking over his shoulder. When Nick Foles was still there, then they, moved him. And then you draft Jalen Hurts. That doesn't help either because now it's like, hey, this kid back here might be ready to take your job if you get out here and keep playing like the hot garbage you've been playing these first 4 or 5 weeks. So I think something mentally has got to get right with Carson Wentz before something else happens. So
yeah, I agree. Michael says Wentz is a good QB, not an elite QB. I agree to that. I agree. I think he is good, but not elite. And what I like to call Nick Foles, I've been saying this the past couple shows, is he's a Captain Save-A-Ho. If you guys remember that song, if you remember that song, the guy that always comes in and try to save.
I wasn't ready for that from Ben. That's why I'm laughing. I wasn't quite ready for that to come from Ben, but that's hilarious.
Hey, I've been saying that for a little while. Excuse the kids or the youngins that may be watching. Don't look it up with your mom around because it's not a song for the family.
Man, that was
anyway,
put the kids to bed before you have them listen. Before you listen to that one.
Nick Foles is getting ready to save the Bears. Actually, he is saving the Bears right now. And Nick Foles came in and saved. But Jalen Hurts' watch is on the clock. He's on the clock right now, and he's going to get in. He's already gotten some run, a little bit of run, but he's going to get in sooner or later. Let's look at the injury report. Let me see. I'm pulling it up right now. We have Luke Gifford. It looks like we have really not a lot of people on the injury report as far as main players. Now, one thing we do have to talk about: Tyron Smith is done for the year, so that means. What, Terrence Steele?
Yeah. It's I think the what you're going to see from the rest of this season, Terrence Steele is going to be your right tackle. Obviously, Zach Martin, is going to be your right guard. Tyler Biotish, the rookie center from Wisconsin, is going to start there. You're going to have, Connor Williams, I guess, continue to play left guard, and then Brandon Knight going to be your right tackle. I mean, your left tackle, excuse me. Yeah. So this whole Connor McGovern thing too, it's been a real mystery down here because they're like, fam, y'all drafted that dude to be,
round, right?
Yeah, and folks are like, where is he at? And apparently he's just not ready. Whatever that means. He's just not ready to play. I mean, he missed all of last season with an injury. Obviously, he had the pandemic and everything, so he didn't kind of get the reps that you would think he would get. And he's just persona non grata right now. So, Connor Williams, the job is yours for the time being right now.
The one thing I want to add on that before you go, Tyler, is we need cohesiveness on this line. We need like a set core group of guys, which we may not have this entire year. That's a problem. Joe Looney is out. Tyron Smith, we already know that he's out for the year. And we got rookies, we got unexperienced. I mean, this is tough to watch, knowing that a couple years ago we had the best line in the NFL. We no longer have that. And it's not a quick fix to improve this. So this is going to be, I think this is going to be a season-long problem. I don't see this being solved real quick or with some type of, snap of the finger.
Yeah, I don't think they were prepared for it. I mean, it started during the draft when Frederick retired in the middle of the draft, and we had to change our entire draft board. No one is – honestly, I've been saying this for years too. It's time to start looking for a replacement left tackle.
Yes.
Tyron Smith's body is wearing down.
Yeah.
I know once he's healthy, he's the best in the game, but he really hasn't been healthy for the last 4 or 5 seasons. Those back injuries, that neck injury, that's severe. It is extremely time to start looking for a backup left tackle. I mean, we lost Joe Looney. I didn't know what was going on with Lyle Collins. And then all of a sudden,
right.
Me either. Season.
Trust me, we all still trying to figure that thing out.
It was just crazy. And even with what's his name, Irvin, I think came over. We got reports today that he had an illness, and he was on his way back. So now he may be out for another week or two. So it's going to be all kind of toss and turns. I mean, we had Zach Martin. He was playing right tackle at one particular point. It's going to be scary, man. And I'm just hoping with time and reps, I think our head coach said, the best offensive line are the ones that has the most reps. So I'm hoping with some reps and over time they develop some type of chemistry. But at the end of the day, guys, we got backups as our starters. And that never leads to success. Yeah. Third string and people who were working at Balo last week are starting for offensive line.
Facts.
Wherever you from, that's what it was working. You want paper or plastic, sir?
It's scary right now, man. How does that help out our running game? How does that protect our quarterback? It's going to be a long season, man.
I mean, there was already question marks going into this season. Yeah. And now no Dak, now no Tyron Smith, Frederick obviously, but now the backup. Now we're with the third string. And there's like so much going on right now that it's a tough time to watch these games. And then the amount of times that we had leads, and then the amount of times we didn't have leads, that we were down, and then that's when we played better. Like, to me, that part is mind-boggling. That part pisses me off. And my wife is always like, "Why do you keep watching these games then? You don't hang your head all the time."
Look, you tell her this is the narcotic that we can't get off of, okay? Yeah, no matter how bad they are, no matter how good they are, it's the narcotic that we just can't get off of, man.
It's that drug. And then we're on the edge of our seats like, oh, they can come back from 20. Oh, they can come back from 35. I mean, we're just – Cowboys fans are interesting people, just like all the other fans are of other teams. But, I think that this game is going to be interesting, obviously, with the changes and the lineup and everything. Now, the question I pose now is, what can we do to win this game? If it's something that you have or haven't said, but what do we need to do to win this game? Tyler, I'll go with you first.
You're going to have to maintain Kyler Murray, man. Keep him in the pocket. Don't let them run loose, because we know how outside linebackers are. Someone get to their outside, they're pretty much gone. Especially if Jalen Smith is going back to the outside, because he said it himself. He's just running around out there, man. He's literally running around. So we got to keep him in the pocket, man. And that's all, sadly and scary, it all comes down to our secondary. How are they going to be towards Nuke? That's what's going to keep him in the pocket. We're going to have to – we've given up way too many wide open catches this season. Like, wide open. Nobody even in the vicinity. So it's all up to the secondary, man. Can they step it up? And can we keep him in the pocket? But if we let him scramble around and start doing what Kyler Murray does, it's going to be a long night.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this is a real do-your-job kind of night, especially on the defensive side of the football. Don't get out here trying to make plays where they aren't there. Maintain your gap integrity. Maintain your ability to keep as Tyler mentioned, keep Kyler Murray in the pocket because once he gets outside of the tackles, good luck with that. Trevon Diggs, look, man, my man's not short on confidence. He's not short on bravado. He ain't short on swagger. But this is a different animal you're going up against tonight in arguably the best wide receiver in the National Football League, and DeAndre Hopkins, leads the league in catches, fourth in yards, receiving this season. And he's going to put pressure on them constantly, and Kyler Murray is going to continue to look for him. I'm worried about some of the other guys from our secondary going up against guys like, Andy Isabella and Christian Kirk. I know Larry Fitzgerald is in the twilight of his career and is an old man out there, but at the same time, he can make a play or two in this game that could have a dramatic effect on this game also. And then for me on the offensive side of the ball, I think the Cardinals are going to try and put pressure on Andy Dalton to make him win this football game. Ezekiel Elliott's your best, running back, obviously, but Amari Cooper, CeeDee Lamb, and Michael Gallup are really going to have to help Andy Dalton tonight, because I think you're going to see a lot of, extra protection brought in to help Andy Dalton get them the kind of time he needs. So the matchup that I'm most looking forward to is to see if Patrick Peterson travels, who he travels with. Is it going to be with Amari Cooper? Is he going to travel with CeeDee Lamb? Is he going to travel with Michael Gallup? I don't imagine him traveling too much with Michael Gallup because of his speed over the top. But who is Patrick Peterson and Drake Kirkpatrick following tonight? And can the Cowboys exploit that matchup, especially against Drake or Patrick? Patrick Peterson, we know, is an all-pro. So those are going to be some of the things I'm watching tonight for sure to see how the Cowboys can handle themselves.
Yeah, and the one thing I'll say, if Daryl Worley is playing at all in this game, he's
barbecue chicken, bro.
Yes.
He is getting burnt. That's who's going to be on Isabella, man.
Yeah.
Watch Isabella about to get busy tonight, man.
Yeah, and then Anthony Brown is back. He came back the last game.
Mm-hmm.
Jordan
Lewis got to step up tonight. Yeah,
I got to get you guys' thoughts. I've never liked Anthony Brown because there's too many penalties, too many times that he gets lost, too many times that he doesn't turn around and he just like slaps the guy in the helmet and he's like, "Oh, I didn't know that was a pass interference." We all knew that. Even us from home, every single person watching knew that. So I've never had a high grade on Anthony Brown, but he's here, and that's all we got. So I don't know, Kevin, have you been a Anthony Brown guy?
He's hot or cold with me, hit or miss. Like the play last week, made a nice play. With the scoop and score for the touchdown. Other times, as we mentioned, my man's barbecue chicken, man. It's just it is what it is. Him and Worley. So, Tyler mentioned, Andy Isabella is a guy who's a matchup problem. He's that Clemson type wide receiver, if you know what I mean. That Clemson type wide receiver. You know what I'm saying? And he's a good route runner and finds his way to get up. I think he went to Temple. I'm making fun of Clemson wide receivers. Tyler knows why. But he's a good receiver. And Jordan Lewis, Anthony Brown, they're gonna have their issues tonight in the slot trying to handle because he's fast. And Jordan Lewis, I think you'll see a little bit more of Jordan Lewis because I think he's a little bit faster than Anthony Brown. Yeah. But both of them are going to have their hands full tonight with a guy like Isabella for sure.
I agree.
Yeah,
go ahead, Tyler.
Here's the things about our corners, man. I think Anthony Brown, out of all of our corners, is the smartest corner that we have. He just don't have the physical attributes to back it up. Yes. I think the most physically all-around corner we have is Awuzie. But in my personal opinion, I think Awuzie is more of a safety than a corner.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought that, just because of his physicality. Mm-hmm. And then, of course, we have the Ricky on the other side, Diggs. Diggs has an extremely big upside. But I think for that nickel corner, man, it has to be Jordan Lewis because of his speed, and he's more physical than Anthony Brown. But for some reason, the coaching staff, even with Jason Garrett, they love Anthony Brown. So he's going to get out there. But with this speed and lack of physicality, he's, like Kevin said, man, barbecue chicken, getting all day, every day. It's not fast. He just doesn't have it, man.
Right. That's true. And that's a great point. It's he doesn't have that, and he doesn't have the intangibles, as people say. He doesn't have that like it factor, but I think he is smart. But when it comes down to doing it on the field, that's a different story. let's give our early grade on Mike McCarthy. What are you guys feeling on him? Look, the minute Red J, Jason Garrett was gone, I was like, okay, I honestly didn't care who it was, as long as it wasn't Wade Phillips or somebody old that could be bossed around by Jerry and the Jones family. So when it was Mike McCarthy, I was like, okay, I'm gonna give it a chance. I know it's early. He didn't really have a full camp. You know, all teams didn't have a full camp. Some teams playing better than others, but us is a lot of injury problems. But I'm okay with it so far. I would give it a C. You know, it's average. It's not great and it's not horrible. It's in the middle. But what do you guys say on McCarthy? Kevin, I'll go to you.
Yeah, that's where I would have. I mean, look, your boy was out here campaigning for Mike McCarthy to be the head coach to the Dallas Cowboys. You know, I was like, hey, you know, Jerry Jones looked around. If he saw the resume that he was looking for, Mike McCarthy fitted to a T. And I would have given him a lower grade if it had not been for the injuries that have beset this football team, even going back to the beginning of this season, losing some of your best players in Leo Collins, and then you lose Tyron Smith into the season. And then you got your franchise quarterback going down for the remainder of the season. And he's tried to piece it together as he has gone on. And with that, it's about a C average right now. You got your team in position to get to 500, and in a putrid NFC East, you might be running away with the thing if you get to 5-3 here in a couple of weeks. So, Mike McCarthy still got a chance to get a little bit higher grade, but I agree right now, especially based on everything he's dealt with. Yeah, I give him a C right now.
Yeah. All right, Tyler.
All right. So,
he started off laughing.
He gave us that Skip Bayless side, didn't he?
The grade I'm going to give McCarthy right now is an I for incomplete.
Okay.
Incomplete due to COVID systems, and the school system is shut down right now. And we're all taking online courses. That's exactly what's happening right now. The man, he made some extremely questionable calls early on in the season that made me scratch my head like, what the hell are we doing here? But at the end of the day, look what he has to work with. Mm-hmm. Offensive left and right tackle out for the season. Center, gone. Middle linebacker, gone. Outside linebacker, gone. Starting corners, gone. Safeties, we signed a safety in the offseason and just let him go for some reason, which is strange. So that's about 80% of your starters completely gone. So the team he's supposed to be coaching, not to even mention your starting all-pro quarterback, gone.
Right.
He doesn't have anything to work with. So I'm not going to kill him up front because, coming into the camp, he was prepping to be with a certain team and to coach a certain team. And all those are completely gone. So he's kind of putting stuff together by scrap almost. Mm-hmm. So I can't really destroy him as of yet because he doesn't have his whole plate of talent. You only have 20% of your starters out there on the field. So I give him an incomplete for now. We'll circle back around come week 8 or week 9.
Yeah, and that's fair. Incomplete. That's one of those grades where if you withdraw or if you don't finish all your assignments, that's what you get when in college. So yeah, I think that's fair. I think
I'm gonna let him turn in all his assignments late. I'm gonna give him some makeup assignments. If he don't turn them in, though, that F is on the
way. Hey, but every single channel, I gotta say this. I don't know who he slipped, 20 or Ben Franklin, but every single channel was like Mike McCarthy's in the film barn with all these other guys, and he's ready. I mean, they pushed
that McCarthy project, man. Yeah,
they pushed that so much. They
pushed it. And Jerry was like, "What barn project? What?" He was ready.
Fell for it. I wanted Urban Meyer just because of the relationship with Zeke and his offensive IQ. You guys know I'm a Florida Gator fan. Mm-hmm. That man is a genius to me. And every single school he went to, not only were they legitimate in offense, they were legit in defense. I think,
and then left it in shambles.
Yeah, exactly. He left it on fire when he left.
He gave you a couple national titles on their way out the door. That burning fire door behind it.
He burnt the program down on his way out.
Literally,
all the evidence, but now I thought he would have been key though. I liked his IQ.
Yeah.
And I would say this. I would say that when it comes to Urban Meyer, his retiring or I got tired or I got caught up in a scandal, so let me just disappear.
Yeah.
Oh no, the Aaron Hernandez documentary came out. Oh no, I'm in that too. Like when all this dies down, I 100% see him coming back to coaching. I don't know where. I don't know how. I had a friend of mine that mentioned, Urban Meyer coming to Texas. With Texas not. I
heard about that.
There's a lot of appetizing locations. If he decides,
I love that.
Come out of retirement.
You want to talk about open up the vault? We'll open up the vault for one Urban Meyer down here in Texas.
Imagine how many players they can buy with Urban Meyer. It's unlimited, man.
Imagine how many questionable players he's going to bring on to that staff. Hey, he may bring Art Briles on there. Art Briles not doing anything.
Not a good idea.
Yeah. So we are right at the time of kickoff. Game starts at 7:15. Shout out to my man Courtney Harden jump in.
See Harden, what's up?
What's up, man?
Let's get a prediction on the score. I really don't like doing this. Kevin, you already did it. You got all of it. I'll let you go first.
I got the Cowboys 30, the Arizona Cardinals 23 tonight.
Okay.
That's what I got.
Okay. All right. Tyler?
I got Arizona 31-21.
Okay. All right. I'm going to say this is going to be a high-scoring one. I'm going to go 35-31 Cowboys.
Ooh, okay.
I think Andy, we are watching you the entire game, Andy. So whatever you got left, whatever you got in that rifle, hopefully you're not
come on, red
blanks.
Rifle now.
Hopefully you're not shooting blanks because we need you.
Right.
We need you. This is your dream job. Everybody that gets on the Cowboys, that's their dream job. So Courtney says 31-27 Cowboys, and he's the Eagles fan. This is the Eagles fan here. So whatever you say, obviously you gotta take it with a grain of salt because you haven't won. We only won one game, and you tied with the Browns. You deserve all types of hate for that. Tied with the Cleveland Browns. But anyway, game should be starting shortly. Kevin Gray, Tyler Butler, thank you guys for coming on. Anything you want to leave us with? Something you guys got coming up this week? You guys are working on? Kevin, I'll go to you first.
I appreciate it, man. Just would love if everyone subscribed to my Patreon just for $5 a month. Go to www.patreon.com/Kevin Gray Sports. Would really appreciate that. Looking to strike out on my own a little bit. So, I would appreciate a little bit of support as we try to make this thing happen, man. And you can follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Kevin Gray Sports, and also my YouTube channel. Also, Kevin Gray Sports. So I appreciate it, man.
Definitely. You said patreon.com Kevin Gray Sports, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. About to put that link in there. While you're at it, I want you to just go to Patreon as well and go to BS3 Radio and do that as well. Because, it's only $10. You can spend that at Panda Express or somewhere. I don't know. Jimmy John's or somewhere. Tyler, what you got coming up this week?
Yeah, man. Just follow us on Facebook, man. Sports and Culture, Sports Media. We try to do a good job as breaking as much news as possible. Not only Dallas Cowboy news, but all news and rumors from the NBA, NFL, MLB, college football, and you name it. If they come across my feed or come across my cell phone, I'm going to try to post it after we make sure that it's accurate. So,
facts.
I don't like posted rumors. Stuff, man. Like Derrick Rose to the Lakers, and let's figure it out. Get out, yeah. So if you see it posted, it's accurate.
Make sure that you follow Sports and Culture, man. They are on top of it.
Yes.
When I'm looking for breaking news, that's where I'm going to. And if it's not on there, I don't believe it. If somebody else posted, I don't believe it yet because I know Tyler's going to get the real deal. They get the down and dirty.
They confirming Tyler's stuff. Okay, they confirming Tyler's stuff is what they're doing. Okay.
All right, but thank you guys for coming on. Let's get to this game, Cowboys Cardinals, right here on Monday Night Football. We just had the Chiefs beat the Bills. Let me get the exact score while I'm talking right now. 26-17. Chiefs had 245 rushing yards. Wow. Okay. But you guys have a good one. Thank you for coming on, and have a great night and week.
Appreciate it, man.
No problem.